Drink of Champions. Welcome to video blog number 3. At the original Granny Poo. Oop. Way down here. Okay, so, eating dinner out of my receptacle of dinner eating. I don't like doing more dishes, so just put it in here. Totally just announced my blog, or my video blog on my Instagram, which all of the kids in my school follow. They probably don't really pay much attention to me. They probably like don't give a shit, but it's just kind of like a like a big deal, because like I don't know, these are like kids I know personally, and they'll pick on me if like they find out a lot of this stuff. So I just announced that I had it. I didn't even put like my shit, like what it is, or like what my, like how to follow, like what my account is. So I just like, it's like DM me if you want it. Wow, that felt great. So I'm gonna eat while I'm blogging. This blog is about something uplifting that I use as a cope to my insanity. Magic the Gathering. Those of you who don't know Magic the Gathering, it is the #1 card game in the world. Well, one of the #1 card games anyway. Trading card games is the original trading card game, actually. Baseball are like trading cards, but they're not like a game. You can't make a game out of it. I mean, maybe you could, but I don't really think you can. Anyways, this is the original trading card game. Like you see people play Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and shit like that. That's nothing. This is Magic the Gathering. This is the original. This is what those copied. Their formats and how to play are like similar. If you know Hearthstone, it's an online version of this, kind of similar. It's just card games are mostly similar, because I mean, like, the way you play, they're similar, they're not the same. I'm not gonna say they're the same, because Hearthstone and Magic, let's be honest, are two different things, but like a lot of the things are kind of the same, abilities and whatnot. Like the concept is the same. That's what I want to say. Okay, my original deck, elf deck, comprises of, usually for Magic you want to do like 60 cards, give or take 60 cards, is the limit for like a standard type of deck. Like, I don't want to say standard, because standard's a type of, it's a form of play. There's standard, modern, legacy, EDH, which is also called commander, and one more format, standard, modern, legacy. I don't remember what the other one was. But anyways, standard, modern, and commander, I guess. I don't want to say legacy. Standard, modern, and commander are the three biggest in play right now. Standard is really big. Everybody almost, I know, plays standard, because, well, a lot of people do. If you're smart, you play modern or legacy, because and modern, no, usually, I mean, cards do change out of set, but if you buy the cards, they'll be in your set for like a really long time. You have like a big time span for your cards to be in. Legacy is the smartest, or casual. I just basically call it casual, because Legacy you can put anything in. I think a Legacy deck is mostly comprised of Legacy cards, but you only spend that big amount of money once, and it's like, I mean, you could probably spend up to like 3, 4, well, you could spend, I know you could spend up to 20 or 30 grand on a deck, but it wouldn't be, I mean, some decks, I mean, anything can be beaten. There's no unbeatable deck out there. It's just how the draw is, and how you play your cards, and how smart you are, and how you can see and how well your cards work against other cards. That's all it is. And it's interesting. So basically, if you're gonna comprise a deck, let's say just standard, like really standard, like not like standard the format, but like regular. Let's say a regular deck. You're gonna want, I don't know if you can see it. creatures. It says elf creature right here. Elf creature. You're gonna want like 22 creatures ish, 20-ish creatures. I actually run 18 usually, but depending on what kind of format and deck you're running, everything is a dependable variable. Yeah. And independent. Actually, it'd be an independent variable. But in this deck, I run heavy creatures because it's an elf deck. So I run like not heavy as in like big creatures, but like a lot of creatures. So it's creature heavy. And then for spells, for instants and sorceries and enchantments and artifacts, enchantments and stuff like that, you probably gonna want to run like 20, maybe. You basically want to split your deck into thirds: 20 land, 20 creatures, 20, depending on what you're running. If I'm running heavy creatures, but they produce mana, then I'm gonna run less mana, more creatures. So I'll probably run like 16, 18 mana, and like 22, 24 creatures, or 26, 28 creatures, and like 10 or 15 spells, and then like 18 mana or something like that. Mana is what you use in order to cast things. It's like any, like if you play the online video games, like like usually to cast spells you need mana for your magic to cast them. And mana is just basically land, is what it's called, is land. It looks like this usually. There are different forms though. Different things can produce mana. This creature, Elvish Archdruid, you tap him, and for each elf that is on the battlefield that you control, you get 1 green land added to your mana pool. Your mana pool is just basically what you have on stock for what's on the battlefield. And if you add more to it that turn via creatures or via other cards, I mean, you can cast more things, and it helps you out. It's an advantage. You can cast more cards and let more things out and whatever. This deck is comprised around elves, all elves mostly. They interact with each other. And the good thing about this is, with Elvish Archdruid, since I have more elves on the battlefield, and he's really shiny in this casing. With Elvish Archdruid, since I have more elves on the battlefield, he will add more mana for each elf that I have on the battlefield. That's great because win condition of this deck, like an unknown win condition that people never really think about when you're talking about elves, you can produce mana like no other motherfucker. Basically, you have like a 60 million freaking like mana, or I mean, like if you somehow find a way to cast infinite mana spells or whatever, it becomes really helpful because of a guy, if I can find him. Ooh, alright, here he is. Because of a guy called Primordial Hydra. The second win condition of this deck. The first win condition is basically elves, but the second win condition, I mean, it's like a I don't know, it happens on a regular usually for every game, and it's just an easier way to win for me. But I try and not use him because I can have the damage deflected back at me depending on who I'm playing. Boros decks, which are red-white decks, are really good at deflecting damage back. So I have this Primordial Hydra. And at the beginning of my upkeep, which is the beginning of my turn, I can cast him for 2 green mana, and then X, which means I can pay as many green mana I have left over as I want. So I can pay like 7 or 6 if I have 6 left over or whatever. But with Elvish Archdruid, which is really nice, is I can tap him and add more for each elf I have on the battlefield. And I mean, if I have like 10 elves, that's like 10 extra mana. Plus, if the elves produce mana on themselves, if you like tap it and it allows you to add 1 more mana, then I can produce. I mean, it's just producing mana like crazy. So I can cast him and he'll come out like a 10/10, 10 power and 10 defense. That's what the little 0/0 here. It'll change because you add counters on him for each counter that is that he comes out. For each mana you pay, you add another 1/1 counter on him. Counters are basically like more attack and more defense, like adding more attack and more defense. And each turn, the number of counters that he has on him doubles on the beginning of your upkeep. And if he has 10 or more counters on him, he has trample. So whatever damage you cannot block, it travels over to your life total. Meaning that if you have like 20 creatures out and they're all like 2/2s, and then you try and block 40 of his damage and he isn't like an 80/80, like you're still taking 40 damage, and I'm pretty sure that you're gonna lose the game. Like, it's ridiculous. This card is great. But you don't want anybody. The thing is, you don't want to lose him. You don't want anybody to take control of him. And if they do, you need to plan on to kill him or to defend yourself, because he can get really big and dangerous. And if it's in your opponent's hands, it's in the wrong hands. So you got to be careful with him. That's why I don't really like him as a win condition. People like to turn him around on me if they get smart enough, but usually they don't get that smart. And usually when I play casual, all my friends are pretty dumb. Not really dumb, but I mean, like, there's 2 or 3 really smart ones, and then there's a couple dumb ones. Not going to name any names. Raymer. I'm a dick. Anyways. Sorry. Dinner. So good. Oh boy. I'm almost died. Okay. Oh, wait, it's coming. I can't burp. Okay. But basically, we'll talk more about Magic later. This is kind of just an intro for people who don't know what Magic is and stuff like that. Kind of like gets you in the mindset of like, hey, maybe this sounds like a cool game. Maybe I want to play it. Anyways, Magic, awesome. I play it. My next videos will be in more depth and more detail, and I'll probably just talk like ideas of decks and other decks that I have, and like what I used to run, what I run right now, my FNMs and how they go. When I go play FNMs. FNMs is Friday Night Magic, for those of you who don't know. It's like tournaments, and they happen everywhere. Like, everywhere. There's so many of them. Type in FNMs near you, and you will get a lot. You will be surprised. There are magic shops all over. Within the distance of me, for an hour drive, I can at least name 6, 7, 8 magic, 9, 10 magic shops near me within an hour's drive, which is really good because most, like, the closest one I know of is 15 minutes away, but I live in buttfuck hillbilly nowhere, so that's really good. I mean, like, in buttfuck hillbilly nowhere, fucking magic shop 15 minutes away, that's like 10 miles. Come on. It's fucking great. Like, in the middle of Hicktown nowhere, people play Magic. Every sort of person I know, like every sort of stereotypical or demographical person you want to think of, I've known, and they've played Magic. Like, hipsters, yeah, they play Magic. They play Magic like no other motherfucker. Rednecks, fuck yeah, they play Magic. They love Magic. Some of them. I mean, fuck. I mean, gigolos or juggalos or whatever you want to fucking call those fuckers. Geeks are, like, they're okay with that. I mean, like, some of them are just like, oh, Dungeons and Dragons, and others are like, Magic's kind of cool. Like, nerds, sports, jocks, like, fucking, fandoms, oh my god. They love Magic. Go to a Warp Tour and be like, hey, who wants to play Magic during lunch? Or whatever, during one of the venues that you don't give a shit about. And then you'll just get like 30 people coming up to you like, oh, I brought my deck. Let's play. And you're just like, why is this happening at Warp Tour? Like, really? In my fucking state, like, why are there people with Magic cards? Why did you bring Magic cards? Did you think you're gonna get bored at Warp Tour? You can't get bored at Warp Tour. Just fucking walk around and go out of the fucking... Unless you don't have any money, then you get really bored at Warp Tour. Because then you're like, I can't buy any band merch. This blows. Donkey dick. But you can still get stuff signed, but usually you have to buy something. So that also blows again. So, without further ado, Magic the Gathering. Oh, check out these cool sleeves. Return of the Jedi. Cool card sleeves. Whoops, dropped them. Cool card sleeves. Total big fan of Star Wars when I was like really little, and I stopped for a while because I got bullied a lot for it. But then I started back up because I realized I don't give a fuck. Magic, Star Wars, old nerd. I'm not very good at video games though, so if you like tell me to blog about video games or blog about whatever, I'll blog and I'll discuss how I think the game was, but I'm not really a big fan of. Like, I'm okay with them. I'll play them if I'm bored, but mostly in music, art, literature, blogging, fandoms, sitting inside my lonely room, crying myself to sleep. And with that, I shall leave you.